Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked at your paycheck and wondered, is this it? Is this all my time and energy is worth? Have you ever felt that sinking feeling in your stomach when an unexpected bill arrives, or watched your bank account dwindle at the end of the month, feeling like you're just one step away from disaster? We've all been there. That feeling of being trapped by money, of living paycheck to paycheck, it's exhausting. But what if I told you that the very system we use to get paid, the one that feels like it's holding you hostage, has a story, a dramatic, wild history filled with surprising twists that completely changed everything. By understanding where we came from, we can finally see where we need to go. This isn't just a history lesson. This is a battle plan, a guide to taking back control. It's about building a life where you don't just survive, you thrive. If you're ready to start this journey with me, if you're ready to rewrite your financial story, I want you to do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single thing. And in the comments below, I want you to type a simple but powerful declaration. I want you to type, "I deserve financial peace." Don't just type it, say it out loud with me. I deserve financial peace. This isn't just a slogan, it's a movement, a declaration, a turning point in your life. It's your promise to yourself that you are done with the struggle. Are you with me? Let's dive into our very first milestone in the history of salary. Let's start at the beginning. Picture this. It's ancient Rome. The year is, well, let's just say a very long time ago. You're a soldier, you've been fighting for months, maybe years, and your employer, the Roman Empire, isn't paying you in gold coins. They're paying you in a bag of salt. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But the word we use every single day, salary, comes from the Latin word salarium, which was a soldier's allowance to buy salt. See, back then, salt wasn't just a flavor enhancer, it was a form of currency. It was used to preserve food, to cure meat so it wouldn't spoil, and without it you couldn't survive for long. It was the original asset, the original form of wealth. This whole idea shows us a fundamental truth that we've forgotten. Money in its purest form is just a promise of value. It's not about the paper or the numbers on a screen. It's about what that money allows you to do. It's a promise that you can exchange your time and energy for something you need, whether it's food, shelter, or in the case of those Roman soldiers, a bag of salt. Think about your own life right now. What is your salt? Is it a feeling of security, a comfortable home, the freedom to take a vacation without worrying about the credit card bill? Whatever it is, that's the real value you're working for. The paycheck is just the container. This simple history lesson has a powerful takeaway. For thousands of years, money has been an exchange of value, but somewhere along the way, we started to see our paychecks as a limitation, as a source of stress. We forgot that it's just a tool. We started letting the numbers on the screen define our worth, our happiness, our potential. But you are not a number. Your value isn't dictated by the amount deposited into your bank account every 2 weeks. Your worth is infinite. It comes from the creativity you bring to your work, the love you give to your family, the ideas you have to change the world. Your salary is just the vehicle, not the destination. John D. Rockefeller, a man who understood money on a level most of us can't even imagine, once said, "The most important thing for a young man is to establish a credit, a reputation and character." He wasn't talking about a credit score. He was talking about your fundamental value as a human being. Your salary is just a reflection of your contribution to the world at this moment. But your true worth is something you build with every action, every choice, every kind word. So as we move on to our next milestone, I want you to ask yourself a hard question. Have you been letting the size of your paycheck define your value? And if so, how can you start changing that today? How can you start focusing on the true salt in your life? The things that truly bring you value and security beyond just money. Remember that you are not just an employee, you are an owner of your life. And the very first step in reclaiming that power is to understand that money is a tool, not a master. Let's talk about our next milestone, which took place in medieval Europe. For hundreds of years, the world was dominated by the feudal system. If you were a peasant, you didn't get a salary. You worked the land for a lord in exchange for protection. It was a life of service and duty, not one of payment and wages. Your entire existence was tied to the land and the person who owned it. But then, everything started to change. Towns and cities began to grow, and with them a new class of people emerged, the skilled tradesmen. Think of the blacksmith, the baker, the carpenter. They didn't belong to a lord's land, they belonged to themselves and their craft, and they realized their skill had value, a value that could be exchanged for something other than just a roof over their heads. This is where the concept of wages was born. These artisans formed groups called guilds. Guilds were part union, part professional association, and part secret society. They set the rules for everything. They determined the quality of the work, the training for apprentices, and most importantly, the price of their labor. They said, this is what a day's work from a master craftsman is worth. They established the first day rates and even created formal contracts. For the first time, your time and your talent were being monetized in a new way, separate from ownership of land. This shift from a feudal system to a wage-based one was revolutionary. It gave people a sense of ownership over their skills and their time. It created a path to upward mobility that didn't exist before. You could be born a peasant, but through hard work and skill, you could become a master craftsman and earn a real wage. This is a powerful lesson for us today. Many of us feel like we're stuck in a modern feudal system. We are loyal to a company, trading our time for a salary, but we feel like we have no real control or ownership over our work. We're on a salary, but are we truly being paid for the unique value we bring? Are we monetizing our most valuable asset, our skills and our time? Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, once said, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance." Giving up is the greatest failure. In the same way, the medieval guilds didn't give up on their worth. They rallied together to define and demand it. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your unique skill? What is the one thing you can do better than anyone else? Are you monetizing that skill to its full potential? Or are you just trading your time for a paycheck, like a modern-day peasant, instead of leveraging your value like a master craftsman? Think about how you can become the master craftsman of your own career. What unique skill can you develop or refine to a point where you can set your own price, your own rules? It's about more than just getting a raise. It's about reclaiming your professional identity and demanding the value you deserve. The power to define your worth has always been in your hands. Now it's time to use it. All right, let's fast forward to the late 1700s and 1800s. This is when the world truly changed. We're talking about the Industrial Revolution. Before this, most people worked on farms or in small family-run workshops. Your day was dictated by the sun and the seasons. But with the invention of machines and the rise of factories, work was no longer personal or seasonal. It was standardized, synchronized, and relentless. People moved from the countryside to cities in droves to find work in these new colossal factories. And with this new way of working came a new way of being paid. Instead of getting paid for a finished product or a day's labor on the farm, you were paid for your time on the assembly line. This is the moment the paycheck as we know it was born. Factories needed a uniform way to compensate thousands of workers, so they introduced weekly and monthly pay cycles. For the first time, your income wasn't a variable. It became a predictable, regular event. This predictability, while seemingly a step forward, also created a new kind of financial anxiety. That feeling of waiting for Friday, of watching the calendar, that's a direct legacy of the Industrial Revolution. But the story doesn't end there. The factory owners held all the power. They set the wages, often at poverty levels, and the workers had no say. This imbalance led to a pivotal moment in the history of labor, the birth of labor unions. Workers banded together and said, "We can't be treated like cogs in a machine. We will negotiate as one." These unions fought for fair wages, reasonable hours, and safer conditions. They understood a powerful truth that a single person is weak against a giant corporation. but a collective is a force to be reckoned with. This is what created the first wage negotiations, a practice we still benefit from today. Think about that for a moment. Someone, a long time ago, fought and risked everything so you could have a weekend, so you could have a safer workplace, so you could have the right to demand more. This milestone teaches us that our compensation is not just a gift from our employer. It is the result of a hard-won battle. Andrew Carnegie, one of the titans of that era, famously said, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." He understood that wealth was a responsibility, not just a reward, but he also knew that it was built on the backs of workers, and the fight for fair pay and conditions was a constant struggle. So here's a question for you. Are you leveraging the power of collective action in your own life? That might not mean joining a traditional union today, but it could mean finding a community, a mentor, or a group of peers who can help you understand your worth and negotiate for it. Are you simply accepting the wage offered to you, or are you actively working to earn the value you know you deserve? The Industrial Revolution proved that people can't just be a line item on a balance sheet. We have a collective voice, and we have the power to change our circumstances if we only choose to use it. If you're getting value from this video and want to see more content like this, please hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. It means the world to me, and it really helps the channel grow. I'm on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers, and with your support I know we can get there. Now that you've liked and subscribed, let's continue with our discussion. Let's fast forward again, this time to the 20th century. This is a period that fundamentally changed not just how we work, but our entire relationship with our jobs. We're talking about the rise of the white-collar workforce and the birth of the modern corporation. For the first time in history, the number of people working in offices and behind desks, doing things like accounting, management and sales, began to rival those working in factories. Your value wasn't just measured by how many products you could build on an assembly line. It was measured by your ideas, your knowledge, and your ability to manage information and people. And this new kind of work demanded a new kind of pay structure. The hourly wage, which worked so well for factory shifts, didn't make sense for a person whose value was in their expertise and strategic thinking. So companies introduced the annual salary. This was a massive shift. A salary wasn't just about trading time for money. It was about a long-term commitment. You were no longer just a hired hand. You were an integral part of the company. In exchange for your loyalty and your mind, companies offered a fixed yearly income, a feeling of stability, and for the first time, comprehensive benefits packages like health insurance, paid vacation, and retirement plans. This created a powerful new social contract between employee and employer. It was a trade of predictable pay and security for your dedicated career. But this era also brought with it some of the most critical financial regulations we have today. The Great Depression exposed the vulnerability of the working class, leading to a demand for government protection. This is when the United States and other countries began to establish minimum wage laws and formal income tax systems. Suddenly, the government became a third party in the financial transaction between you and your employer. Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing and a mentor to Warren Buffett, had a simple philosophy: the investor's chief problem, and even his worst enemy, is likely to be himself. In this era, many people found themselves trusting the corporate system completely, putting their entire financial security into the hands of a single employer. This can be a dangerous game. So here's a critical question for you to consider. Have you become too comfortable with the security of a corporate salary and benefits package? While it's wonderful to have that stability, are you also thinking about what happens if that security disappears? Are you building your own financial resilience, or are you just relying on your company to do it for you? This milestone shows us that while a salary can provide a sense of security, true financial freedom comes from understanding that your greatest asset isn't your job. It's your ability to earn, save, and invest for yourself, regardless of your financial future, is your responsibility, not just your employer's. It's time to take control. All right, everyone. We've arrived at our final milestone. This is the one we're living through right now, the digital era. This period is completely reshaping the way we think about work and money, and it's happening at a speed that is dizzying. For decades, the standard was the 9-to-5 job in a corporate office, with a predictable annual salary. But the internet and mobile technology blew that model apart. Now, your workplace can be anywhere. This led to the explosion of remote work and the gig economy. People are no longer just employees. They are freelancers, creators, and entrepreneurs juggling side hustles and working on projects for multiple clients through digital platforms. This has had a profound effect on our paychecks. Instead of a bi-weekly deposit from a single company, people are receiving small, frequent payments from a variety of sources. This new model offers an incredible amount of freedom and flexibility, but it also comes with new challenges like income instability and the loss of traditional benefits. But the digital age isn't just changing how we get paid, it's changing our expectations. The rise of social media and online forums has led to a powerful new movement: salary transparency. People are openly sharing what they earn, challenging the long-held taboo around discussing money. This is forcing companies to confront long-standing issues of pay equity and gender pay gaps. It's empowering workers to demand fair compensation based on real-world data, not just what a company is willing to offer. And we're just at the beginning. The next frontier of compensation is already here. We're seeing the emergence of cryptocurrencies as a form of payment, and the promise of instant pay, where you can get paid for a task the moment you complete it, bypassing traditional banks and pay cycles. This is the ultimate decentralization of salary. It puts you in direct control of when and how you get your money. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, once said, "The rich don't work for money. They have money work for them." The digital era makes this more possible than ever before. It's a wake-up call that your income stream doesn't have to be a single corporate-controlled river. It can be a network of diverse streams you create yourself. So here's my final and most important question for you. Are you a passive participant in this digital economy, or are you an active creator within it? Are you embracing the freedom it offers, or are you still clinging to an outdated model that might not serve you in the long run? The history of salary is a story of evolution, from bartering with salt to negotiating as a collective, from the stability of a corporation to the freedom of the gig economy. Each shift was a response to a new world. The world has changed again, and with it your power has grown. You have the tools and the information to build a financial life that is truly your own. It won't always be easy, but you are more capable and more resilient than you think. The path to financial peace isn't about finding the perfect job or the highest paying salary. It's about taking ownership of your value, diversifying your income, and building a life where your money serves you, not the other way around. It's about understanding that the ultimate form of wealth is freedom,